Yeah. What is up? It's another Wednesday. We're here in the stew. No Toter today.
We in the stew.
But it's okay. How's everybody doing?
Bad.
I'm Shane Diefenbach. That's Shawn DePaz. Welcome to the PHNX Suns show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, Morocco got knocked out of the World Cup.
Yeah, that's
tragedy.
Where we're going first, for sure.
What did you actually want to talk about first?
What?
So what did you actually want to talk about first?
Well, ASU football's got some movement. Basically, they will have movement this entire offseason, but
don't be a lot of it.
More news today. Most recently, Isaiah Johnson putting his name in the portal. BJ Green as well. There's a lot going on, but also some good news, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But let's talk about what this team really needs.
Wins.
Because it's a lot. Yes. Aside from wins, let's talk positional groups. The first being the most necessary, I would say. I think the biggest struggle for this team last year, and it's getting even weaker, and that's the defensive line.
At first, I thought you said necessary.
Oh, damn.
I was like, ooh, look at you, Shane.
Well, speaking of Nesta, he did declare for the draft. We haven't talked about that yet, so congratulations to him. I definitely think he's going to find a spot.
Yeah.
Just because of his size.
Yeah, and he's a dog.
He is a dog. So, yeah, let's talk defensive line and needs there. Is that the biggest need in terms of a position group for football?
Probably, because I do think they got to do something with the quarterback position, but at the worst case scenario, you do still have Trenton, and I think he is at the very least serviceable. So that's what it is. At this point, I do think it's defensive line, because everyone is gone. Everyone's gone, and the defensive line was already not great last year. But yeah, I think it probably is the biggest need right now.
Yeah. So official transfers on the defensive line: Omar, Joe Morris, Stanley Lambert, Anthony Cooper.
And then, like we said, Nesta heading to the draft.
Yeah, Nesta to the draft. Chris brings up offensive and defensive line. Yes, the line just in general.
Yeah, the trenches.
But there's a lot of players out there that are in the portal as well. I would expect they shore it up.
Yeah. My biggest concern is that, and this is just, I guess, theoretical, hypothetical, that enticing defensive players to come here is going to be slightly more difficult than it is to entice offensive players to get here, because you have an offensive-minded coach, and I think everyone is looking at this team thinking it is going to be explosive offensively. But it's not to say that they won't be able to. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that shakes out. But I do think it would just be nice if they had like a nice defensive line. It's kind of like basketball, how like we're coming in this year, be like, I hope they dunk more. Yeah. It's like, I hope they get more sacks.
Yeah, I hope they blitz more. I hope they get home.
If they have like a dominant pass rusher would be pretty awesome. Yeah. Pretty awesome. But at this point, what on the defense doesn't need work? Yeah. Everywhere. They lost their two starting linebackers. Everyone in the secondary seems like they've left.
Here's the difference, though, is the defensive line, there's not really much noise about players coming in. Yeah, you've gotten official verbal commitments from linebackers that are coming here already. In Tristan Monday, Crew Jackson, and Tate Romney. But some of those will definitely help off the ball. But you're going to need some on the line. I think Tristan Monday will play a lot on the line. But speaking of linebackers that are basically linemen, BJ Green was the big one today. BJ Green is a strange one because he not only wasn't a huge part of this team a couple years ago, but he got a scholarship. Yeah. He was one of those guys that worked his way up to a scholarship and I expected him to have a huge year this year, and he was a key backup, but he was still a backup. And you lose depth now. You're basically losing too deep on the defensive line.
Yes.
And
that's the biggest concern, I think, is that everywhere just about everywhere they've lost people, but like losing Emery, not that really big of a deal. Once he lost the job, he didn't play again. Losing a guy it's tough. Like we said, the trenches are bad because especially on the offensive side of the football, guys kept getting hurt last year too. And so to not have depth there would obviously be a problem. But I don't think anyone should be concerned. The portal's been open for how long?
That's the clear position is the defensive line, I think. And again, there's still a lot to happen. Like you're gonna see a lot of movement here before this portal session ends, and during the next one, and then commitments, whatever it be. There's always a surprise that comes into it.
Yeah.
So it's no time to panic yet, but it's definitely not a good sign for right now, at least. You would rather be in a position where you have backups.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess looking at the transfers, like the linebacker position is the one place that they have gotten a few guys. Linebacker room is looking awfully all-American. But they otherwise they have holes they have to fill. And I'm sure that there's still the additions they're going to make in that linebacker room, but
awfully all-American.
Awfully all-American. Bad band name?
Yeah.
Good band name?
Awful band name, I would say.
Awfully. Stop.
I don't really even know where I was going with that.
I don't either.
I was just awfully. I don't know.
Literally had no idea where you were going with that.
I feel like Totri's not here, so I have to kind of pick up the slack of starting sentences without knowing where they're going to end.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as I said, that's the clear positional need. What's the second one? Is it a quarterback?
All right. So are we grouping just offense and defensive line into one? Because if the defensive line is a one, then offensive line is two, I think. If we're moving outside of the trenches, then I think quarterback is the one position where I think you can be okay with the current quarterbacks you have. But if you do want to go to like take a next step, like Oregon did when Kenny got there with Bo Nix, like I think you have to go get a DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah, nice.
I think I was right, but I usually check with Totri.
I was going to say you were asking Totri this afternoon.
But I usually say it right, and then I get him. He's like, yeah, that was good. I think you need to go get him or Spencer Sanders or something like that if you really want to take the offense to another level. But
yeah, offensive line. Not only were you bad last year, you're also losing Ben Scott and Ladarius Henderson.
Yeah,
and to the transfer portal only. So,
but I mean, everywhere offensively, like the receivers, you still have Elijah Badger as of right now, but otherwise, like, what is that position group going to look like?
I think your receiver room is going to be really good.
I think it's going to be good, but they still have to do
I wouldn't be
things.
worried about the pass catchers. I mean, Cam Johnson leaving, but Jake Smith coming in. Jake Smith's a dog.
And
there's a lot of other
guys that may or may not.
Yeah.
But what?
Said Jacoby.
I was Dorian. But then also the running back room, like Ngata's in the transfer portal. We don't know where that's going to go. They have Tevin White. They have DeCarlos Brooks, who is going to be on the show tomorrow. We'll talk about that more later. But
you're just giving it out there.
I mean,
you're not even teasing them.
I don't even know what you're talking about. But yeah, I think the quarterback position is the one to take the offense to another level. Is the one where they have to go get somebody.
So you're not happy with just Conover coming in?
No, I don't like. Cool, but we have no reason to expect that he's going to be like something special yet. He hasn't done anything.
So
yet.
I
want DJ. I want DJ Uyunglele. I think he brings this team to a different level and makes them a legit Pac-12 championship contender. But
is that just a pipe dream?
Is it a pipe dream that he comes here?
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily. Like it's. I'm not trying to put too much value into it, but I think the fact that he did visit here at one point, like, it means a little something. Like, he has slight familiarity. Like, he would know what he's getting into, I guess, to a certain extent. But I'm sure it's a pipe dream. Like, he's the biggest name in the transfer portal. So, quarterback-wise. Yeah. So, there's going to be a lot of people calling, but I think it's a pipe dream for anybody, but I don't think it's
I think
crazy.
The only real reason, aside from the visit, that you can make a case for him coming here is obviously what everyone's talked about with Kenny and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of similar, crazy talented, but just kind of just do some dumb things sometimes.
Yeah, they need a hand to guide them in the right direction.
And Kenny's got a golden one.
Yes.
DB, are you how worried about that room are you?
I'm very, because I was so disillusioned last year that I was like, the defensive backs are going to be all right. And then they really weren't that great.
Yeah.
So I want that locked. Listen, literally everywhere that's not punter and kicker, I think needs improvement. So like we could go through every position group, but they got to replace Case Hatch too. We don't have a fullback. But this is what it is. It's a rebuilding program.
I love Case Hatch like so much. He was the truest fullback. But I want a fullback that gets carries.
Fair.
Like Case Hatch could have gotten carries, but if Kenny was here last year, I feel like they would have used Case Hatch in some crazy way.
All-American.
A chip block to a wheel route.
Break a face mask. He's running with no helmet.
Yeah.
Carry 60 the face yards. Mask. Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. But we forgot. We don't need improvement in the tight end room. Like they could not touch that at all, and I'd be completely fine. I'm concerned about that. But
we'll take Deuce Robinson.
Well, yeah, I mean, I won't complain, but they don't need to improve there. Like if that position group looks the way it does right now, starting the season, I won't have a problem.
And I know it's late, but that's another thing is flipping recruits. It could still happen.
Yeah, 100%. That's just like obviously we got to talk about it, but like it's hard to talk about it because so much is going to change still. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, you look at this time last year. Jaden Daniels was the starting quarterback for ASU football. So, like, we have no idea what this roster is going to look like even tomorrow, potentially.
Chat, who's a name in the portal that is available still or maybe committed somewhere that you think could flip that you would want? Drop them in the chat right now. Last thing about this, let's talk about Dorian Singer. Because Dorian Singer, it's the hot meter is warm in terms of ASU and Utah. Which is crazy, but do you think Dorian Singer is a Sun Devil by the start of next season?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. I mean, it seems like Utah and ASU are the two, and I do think what better way to give a giant fuck you to Jaden Delora and the Wildcats. I don't know if it is. I obviously don't know if it's actually like personal like that, but then to go to their biggest rival and then go beat them. I'm just saying. I mean, if he goes to Utah, like Utah makes a lot of sense. I think it's like he's going to be successful there. They're going to be the best team in the conference probably next year. But it's more fun if you come here. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. But yeah, I think he ultimately will be. From what I've heard, the projections say that ASU has the best chance, but obviously that doesn't really mean shit. But I think so. I think he's a Sun Devil.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if I had to say right now, I would say no, just because I think it's so wild, and ASU is going to have so many more names coming in the receiver room, guys. Yeah. There's a lot of talk.
There's just so much to change.
But look, Singer here is Singer and Badger and Jake Smith. 1, 2, 3. Can you imagine that?
I cannot. I cannot. But also, like, it doesn't really matter if you don't have a quarterback that can get them the ball. But I do think that even if it is Bourget still, like if you have a super talented receiver room, you saw what he was able to accomplish at times with just a Badger essentially, and Conyers still going to be there. But I do think having a good receiving room could make him look really good if that is what ends up happening. But if you put a good receiving room with DJ Uiagalelei, this is a Rose Bowl team.
I think you're obsessed with saying that name now.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with him.
It's a great name to say.
I'm obsessed with him. And I also might be a little jaded because I spent a whole lot of time in the ACC.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Jacob makes a great point. This is the player to be named later in the Jade Lavelle trade.
That is such a great point.
100.
If you guys don't know, Jade Lavelle, star ASU women's basketball player, transferred to you.
Yeah, I was going to say former star ASU basketball player.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about obsession with a certain quarterback. I'm obsessed with a certain food place. And we have a lot of good ones.
We do have a lot of good ones.
How about this one?
Which
we
one?
had this yesterday or Monday.
Yeah, all the days are blending together. Yeah, dude. The thing I love about Chop Shop is that I, admittedly, not great at like eating healthy. Yeah. I got a pretty shitty diet. But then Max shows up with this Chop Shop. And I'm not going to lie, I was pretty skeptical at first because I was just like, it just kind of sounds like some healthy shit. Like, it's not really my vibe. Then we had it. Not just some healthy shit. Like, it is healthy for you, but it also, like, the chicken prosciutto sandwich.
Yeah.
You put prosciutto on just about anything, I'm going to sign up for it. Like, I'm a
yeah. It's
prosciutto guy through and through.
Your buddy comes up to you. You want to go eat something healthy, like a nice protein bowl? And you're like, yeah, but like,
not
trying
really.
To save some money.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. $11.
Yeah.
Protein
and also, like, it's healthy, but also you can mix in like a lemonade or Arnold Palmer, and that shit goes crazy. And they also have this like white fudge cookie or something. I don't remember what it is, but it's a cookie that is amazing. So they got some good stuff in there. Yeah. So they got like some non-healthy stuff.
If you haven't tried Chop Shop, all over Arizona, both of our Slacks on. all over Arizona, Scottsdale, Tempe, Chandler, Queen Creek, Paradise Valley locations. Look it up. They're fantastic. Thank you, Chop Shop, for supplying us with lunch yesterday.
Yeah.
So good.
I feel like you could have like a pretty damn good day in Tempe, right? Like you end your day with Chop Shop. Started with some Burrito Express.
Ooh.
Like just have a little food tour around the valley. I don't know. Burrito Express is, I think, probably the greatest breakfast burrito to ever exist. Right? Is that
no?
I'm not saying it. The streets are saying it.
Yeah, that's true.
The streets have been talking, and I got my ear to the streets. You know how we do. But yeah, I mean, it's the best burritos. I got locations all over the valley. Check them out. It's like it was like the official food of the unofficial official burrito of
Sun
Devil football.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, check them out. 5 locations across the valley.
Yeah, we haven't had it in a while.
It's been too long, man.
But Totri snaked us that one time.
But you know what? That's because. But the problem is that a lot of our basketball games have been late. So the games have been they close at 3.
Yeah.
But you know where we got a noon basketball game? New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
End the year with some Burrito Express before, during, maybe after the ASU versus U of A game on December 31st.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about basketball then.
Hey, why not?
What has impressed you the most about this season so far?
I mean,
you can weigh in.
It's hard not to say the defense, but that's like also the least surprising thing is that the defense is good. Like it was good last year. And that just kind of weirdly become the identity of Bobby Hurley's teams over the last 2 years, I think. But outside the defense, it's just the chemistry. Like they just seem like they're vibing and they're playing for one another. And you could put them in any situation, any arena, any opponent, and they're going to be playing for one another. And that is good. Like that just makes this team a little bit more fun. Because it's not like not like we had any reason to believe that they weren't playing for each other next year, but it also didn't like smack you in the face the way this team is with their chemistry. They're like, we're riding for one another. Yeah. And you can tell that. Like they make it very clear. And I think that part has made this team very fun.
Yeah, I think it's Coach Bobby Hurley. That's impressed me.
Also fair.
Just because of how people are critical about his adjustments from game by game, even during the games. But the adjustment from year to year has always been solid, I think. They do fix a lot, aside from that Princeton offense, but sometimes it's not broken. Yeah. But his demeanor has changed,
Yeah.
He still does his little Bobby change.
He's a Hurley,
that's what fires him up. He is a situational technical guy. If the team needs a technical, it'll fire him up. He'll get it.
Yeah. It's like he's like a hockey player that gets in a fight at a good time. He knows when to use it.
But all this, and it's easy to say this when you're winning, but everything that comes out of Tempe has been good. Like from what players are saying, post-game interviews.
And also, we're forgetting they lost to Texas Southern in the second game of the season.
Yep.
Like, this could have gone very poorly, very fast. It's obviously very different, but you look at football. They lost to an opponent they weren't supposed to very early in the season, and how did it all end?
Yeah, and Jacob brings up a great point that the team can make adjustments when they get into foul trouble.
Yes,
we saw this last game. They can make adjustments, but also the bench is a huge reason why that was able to work. The bench had some huge minutes, even without scoring a lot. We saw 10 points from Austin Nunez coming off the bench.
And those are like a quiet 10 points.
Yeah, quiet 10. He was good defensively as well. Some mistakes here and there, but overall fantastic. LTC says clutch shooting. Completely agree.
It's just, honestly.
Did you see the video from Jordan Ham, by the way, on Twitter?
No.
It was one of the greatest videos I've ever seen. It was one of the greatest tweets I've ever seen, rather. It was the first video was the shot that Des hit in the corner fadeaway 3 that we were like, oh God, he checked, and he hit it. The second tweet was him practicing that exact shot pregame. It was just awesome to see.
Things you love to see. But it's hard to find a part of the team that you don't not that hard, right? Like, some of Frankie playing Superman ball, like, problematic. So their just inability to produce offensively at times is problematic. But when you have a defense as good as they are, you can get away with that kind of stuff. So it's hard to really be upset at anything.
Yeah. Here's also something from a game planning perspective that I've enjoyed from Bobby Hurley is his ability to take away the scoring option of the other team. Obviously ASU's win over Michigan was propelled by really high percentage of really good shooting, essentially. Yeah. They made the shots that they took, most of them, 60%. But another reason is stalling the All-American, or should be All-American center, Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything against ASU. Fast forward to the Creighton game last week.
Yeah.
or over the weekend or Monday. This was this week. Oh my God.
Yeah, like I said, all Monday together.
Go to the Creighton game on Monday. Obviously, they're 7-footed in play. They're leading scorer. But you know who's on that team? Nembhard. Brother of Andrew Nembhard. He's very good at basketball. What he did against ASU, or what he was nothing. What he did against U of A, what he did against Texas, what he did against Texas Tech. 20 plus points in each game, shooting about 40 to 60%.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about this team is that I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, I mean, I do think the defense allows them to compete against just about anybody. But the thing I think that is special about this defense is like, if you're going to beat this team, you're probably going to have to do it in a different way than you have won your other games. And I think that makes them hard. I mean, no, I'm not even going to mention the school. I'm not going to mention the school you think I'm going to mention. Let's talk about Washington, their zone. Like that's like zone defenses, for example, are a situation where a lot of teams struggle against them because it's just different. Not necessarily that the team's better than you, but it makes you change the way you play your game. And obviously ASU's not running a zone like that, but they make you play differently. And I think a big part of that is Warren Washington. I think he is the most important part of this team, to be quite honest. Like I think he is the difference between last year's team and this year's team is a guy like Warren Washington. Yeah. But I think that's part of what makes this team so dangerous.
That's going to be a huge test. Like we've seen them play against the zone, but not against the zone that you think of in college basketball, the Syracuse zone. I said it for you.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but last year the Washington game where they scored 29 points or whatever it was, that was against the zone most of the game. And this offense just can't really get going. The Princeton doesn't work against zones.
No,
it just simply doesn't. It's strictly for a man offense. I'm excited to see what they do to attack zones. We saw them attack zones a couple times this year, and there was a lot of entry passes to the high key.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff with Devin Cambridge coming to that high post, looking down, Warren playing the block.
Mid-range Lou could thrive against the zone.
When is the game against Washington?
I don't know off the top of my head. But I mean, like, ways to be like the thing about this team is
they play Washington January 26th. Or no, January 8th at home.
You're seeing a lot of the things that beat the zone. You're seeing this team do well, or not a lot, but I mean, like, for example, a good way to beat the zone is lobs. Mm-hmm. This team is doing that this year. They're not really shooting great from three, but get Alonzo Gaffney open in the corner. Apparently, he makes those every single time, and like you might get those opportunities against the zone, and then get opportunities at the like the top of the free throw line type thing, like that little soft area. You have guys that are shooting wonderfully from mid-range. So like I think this team is kind of built outside of the fact that they like to run Princeton on offense. Like they are built to beat zones. So it'll be interesting to see how they play against those teams. Yeah.
My goal this year for this team is for them to make the opposing team get into a box and one for Dez or somebody like that. I want somebody to just get so hot they have to change the defense. I want to see that so bad. This team excites me, but obviously, we've been scoring before when they were number 3 in the nation, 12-0. So, do we expect a drop off when it comes to conference play?
I don't think you can expect it at this point. Because they've played two conference games and they were tough conference games and they won. This team just seems different. And like obviously, I'm going to sit here and feel like an idiot when they go 500 in conference.
No, they're not though.
But I don't think they're going to. But I mean, like, obviously, whatever. I understand that there's a lot of reasons historically to think that this team is going to fall off, blah, blah, blah. But this team just feels different. So no, I don't think you can. I think you're being unnecessarily pessimistic if you're expecting a drop off. I think you have to acknowledge the fact that it's a possibility, but I don't think you can expect it.
All right. Let's talk about the best and the worst case coming up for this Bobby Hurley-led team. What's the best case? Not postseason. Just
not postseason?
Right before the tournament, the Pac-12 tournament.
I think the best case is that you have split with Arizona, you split with UCLA, and then I think saying that you've won every other conference game is slightly unrealistic because it's conference basketball, but 5 losses in conference, I think, might be best case scenario. You lose one to U of A, you lose one to UCLA, and then you just lose a couple somewhere otherwise because it's a conference game. But I do think that this is now a team where outside of UCLA and U of A, they are the best team against anybody they play in the conference. So realistically, those are the only games that they are going that I look at on the schedule and like they should lose that game. ASU should lose twice to U of A. They should lose twice to UCLA. But this is a good team. It's a hard team to beat. So I think they're going to end up finding one. At least one of those 4 games, they're going to win one. Because I mean, shit, they did last year. They beat UCLA somehow at one point last year. So I think that's probably the best case scenario.
They're 10-1 right now.
Yes,
20 more games. Best case scenario record.
20 more games, you said?
20 more games.
10-1. Best case scenario record. 20 more games, they lose. I'll go 25-6. Is that math? Did I add that math up right?
No. Maybe. Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yep, 31.
I think it's around there. Because I don't think they should lose. They shouldn't, in my opinion. They obviously shouldn't lose to San Diego. San Francisco game might be tough, but that's another game they should win. And then again, like I said, you look at the conference schedule. Only teams that I think they should lose to are UCLA and U of A. Outside of that, I think they should be the favorite in just about every game.
USC is going to give you some trouble.
USC is going to give you trouble, and I mean, the problem with this team is that their 3-point shooting disappears, or their shooting in general disappears. So they're going to be in a lot of close games. I think they've shown that they can win close games, but I think a team like that, you're naturally just going to lose a couple of really close games. And that's why I'm not going to sit here and pretend they're going to go undefeated in conference. But
ASU does not get Cal at home this year, unfortunately. They do go to Cal.
Sad.
But they also don't have to go to Utah. They just play one game against Utah, and it's at home. So I think they'll still be favored in that game, but I agree with Jacob. Utah is proving to be very good.
Yeah.
They're almost as strong defensively.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not sitting here and trying to say that ASU is leaps and bounds against everyone else better than everybody else in the conference. I do think USC and Utah are in that same general stratosphere, but
you don't make dumb plays. You should win a lot of games. Worst case scenario.
And we've seen that this shooting can get hot. Yeah. If the shooting gets hot, they're beating anybody in the country, I think. I do not think that there is a team that this team cannot beat if they're shooting. If they shoot the way they did against Michigan, they're playing the same defense they played in every game, they beat anyone in the country, I think. Anyone. But that's a big if, because that shooting doesn't usually happen. So you're relying on the defense. This team's good, man. This team's so good.
All right, well, let's talk about the worst case scenario.
You go like 10-10 in conference, and then you miss.
Do you think that's the worst case? I think here's the worst case scenario. Your 3-point ball disappears completely. Even worse than it is now. You're shooting about 20% from 3 in conference play.
Okay.
The defense laps. There's a bunch of lapses in multiple games. Dumb fouls. You lose like 6 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
the rest of the year you go 6-14. I think that is a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that what that puts you at? If you go 6-14, you're 16-15.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. I don't really see a path to that happening. I just think this team is too good, and their defense is too good. But I've been burnt before. So we will see.
So 10-10 you're going with.
I think 10. I just don't think they are going to fall off that much. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not giving the conference enough credit.
Who needs to step up if this team wants to have that best case scenario and end up winning 26 games? I think
it's Frankie or DJ. I just think if you can get consistent offensive DJ, this team is going to be dangerous. Like, because I think consistent offensive DJ, he's offensively one of the best guards in the country. If you got what he can do consistently, but he's never done it consistently. But it's either him or Frankie needs to be more consistent offensively. Like if you can get one of them to be consistent offensively, this team becomes very dangerous. Because that's the biggest problem with the team, in my opinion, is that you don't have a guy that is like. I was watching Memphis, Alabama last night, and they were just talking about how. Team struggling. I can't remember who it is, but they had a guy who was like, "All right, I'm just gonna have to go make plays." And I don't think there was a guy
struggling.
I think so.
Amani Bates. He's gone now.
No, they were talking about it. They were talking about somebody that was playing in the game last night.
Oh,
I can't remember who it is. But I don't like if you're looking at this team and it's like, okay, everyone's struggling. This guy's going to get you a bucket. I don't really know who that is.
That's Des Cambridge.
It should be, but it hasn't been. It's consistent. Like, it hasn't been consistent. Like
it's gotten more consistent.
But it's been consistent in the sense that he's making big buckets. But I mean, this team is down 10. You need a guy to go put this team on his back and just start going crazy. there has not been one of those guys consistently this year.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean,
and they also haven't been in that situation a lot.
They've only been in that situation.
That's fair.
They've been in that situation twice, and one of the times was Dez. VCU
but Dez has also disappeared offensively and looked terrible at times. So that's what concerns me. There hasn't been a guy who was like every time you've needed him, he's shown up.
Yeah.
So that concerns me, and I think that is why this could go really poorly at times. But I just think the defense is too good. They're going to be in games that they otherwise should not be in.
My X factor is uppies.
Yeah.
If Warren Washington can turn into an absolute force inside,
if he can,
then your offense is terrifying.
He's going like 10-10 every game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that you look at. Like we talk about the two big teams that have played, Michigan and Creighton. The thing that was most concerning about them is their big man. If you have a big man that can answer any other big man in the country,
I don't think we've seen the best.
Tough team to beat. I don't think we have either.
Jacob,
I am very excited to see him against Umar Ballo.
Yeah, Jacob bringing up the foul trouble for Dez. That is a huge thing. We need him down the stretch.
Foul trouble is one of my chief concerns with this team because
especially when we get to Pac-12 play with the refs. It's going to be rough differently. Oh boy!
Throw back to Stanford last year.
They have shown that they can play aggressive but play smart at the same time. We saw that last game. We saw that against Creighton when they got into foul trouble. They played tough
that's the thing. It's like they might not play smart defense whistle to whistle, but I think you saw in that Creighton game that there was a point where they're like, okay, you got to stop now. Like this is now the point of no return. If you keep doing this shit, you're going to lose this game. And then they made that adjustment, and that is very encouraging because you didn't see that last year. Like there was times like that Stanford game where things got bad and they just stayed bad. And then you got a player and a coach get suspended, and everything was ugly. Hopefully they don't do that again.
Right now, ASU would be the number 1 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. Obviously, it's very early. No conference play has
first
officially.
Round bye.
The conference play has kind of started, but not really officially. So we'll see what happens. There's so much adversity to go through for an ASU basketball team that has gone through a lot in Pac-12 play. I mean, hopefully not as much as in the past, but we will see. There's a lot of basketball to be played. Sunday night, San Diego. Got to win that game. We'll be there for the post-game show. Make sure to join us right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Anything else about the basketball team?
No, just keep on keeping on.
Nice, that's good. I think you should go talk to them and tell them that.
Yeah.
If you had to place a underdog, if you were allowed to place an underdog fantasy, higher or lower pick 'em for this team, give me 3 entries on what you would take, points or whatever, any stats
on this game.
No, just any given night.
Oh,
like what are your go-tos?
Probably Alonzo Gaffney lower on points.
Yeah, that's good.
It's probably like at half.
Well, let me set it for you. 3.5.
Lower.
Okay.
Lower. Because then if you get him in the corner and he hits 2. I'm still going to take lower. I'm going to assume lower. Okay.
I'll give you a couple of them.
Okay.
Let's see. Austin Nunez, 7.5 points. These are good lines, aren't they?
Lower.
Wow.
I know this sounds like I'm being really pessimistic about this team, but it's just last night was not last night, but the 10 points against Creighton was the first time he had done anything offensively since New York City. So
Frankie Collins, 9.5 points plus or rebounds plus assists.
Higher. That man is a menace.
Yeah,
offensively.
6 and 5 every single game.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. If you want to get in on the action, unfortunately not. In Arizona, you can't bet on player props.
Yeah.
In college, but you can do it with all the other sports professionally. Just pick up to 5 of your favorite or least favorite players' totals. Bet on whether they'll end up higher or lower than the total that they set. And it's a lot of fun. You can also do daily fantasy drafts. So go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. Sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to 100 bones.
Ooh, roof. Part of the reason why I like Underdog too is just that it makes you can find a random game and it makes it a little more fun to watch, and it's even more fun to watch when you're sitting in some comfy chairs or something like that. And obviously the comfiest of chairs, they come from more furniture. You know, we're decked out. We sit here. I was just watching the Morocco-France World Cup game, sitting in one of our nice comfy more furniture recliners, and it made the loss, for the Moroccan loss. I was rooting for Morocco. Also may have had a little money on Morocco. It made that loss go down a little easier. So check out More Furniture. They're having a holiday clearance event at More Furniture. You can save up to 50% off. 5-0, not 1-5, 50% off. Check out more furniture. It's maybe the comfiest. Again, streets are talking. This isn't coming from me. It's from the streets. The comfiest furniture in the solar system.
The streets are always talking.
The streets are talking. It just so happens they're talking about our sponsors.
Sometimes the feds are always watching.
Yeah, the feds are watching.
And they were watching Sean Miller.
True.
And for 5 years, nothing happened. For 5 whole years, nothing happened. And then today, news finally came out about the punishment for all of the stuff that Sean Miller found out about. Obviously, he's been gone for a while. But today, the panel decided that Arizona's decision to self-impose a postseason ban for the 2020-21 season shaped the sanctions against the program for failure to monitor the school. U of A will pay $5,000 and lose 1 scholarship for its incoming recruiting class, along with some vacated wins. If this doesn't tell you that I really don't think much is going to happen with ASU football, I don't know what will.
The thing that concerns me the most is in regards to you. First off, if the fine is something like I don't have $5,000 I can just pay, but if like I had to post like a $5,000 bail, I could get someone to give me that money, and that should tell you how low, like how little that. Like if I could pay the fine that the school is getting, that's a pretty low fine. The thing that concerns me the most, though, is that this and the Tennessee football situation, the thing that got them out of trouble. Well, 2 things that got them out of trouble is their cooperation and self-imposed things. And as far as I can tell, ASU football has not self-imposed anything. No. Well, their play self-imposed a bowl ban, but it doesn't seem like the school has imposed any kind of scholarship bans or anything like that. And that is seemingly what has gotten Tennessee and U of A out of trouble. So that concerns me. I'm hoping that is not that big of a deal and that ASU is cooperating and that really gets them out of trouble. But regardless, it does not seem like the NCAA is really coming down hard on these schools.
Yeah.
And that is a good sign for ASU.
A couple of other self-imposed things. 2-week ban on their campus visits for men's basketball during March 2022. Whoa.
Wait, March 2022? You mean when they're not playing any games on campus? They're literally
March
only
2022 already happened.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying they didn't play any games on campus. They played in Vegas and then they played in the tournament.
So did the 2020 to 2021 self-imposed. That's why.
That shit is ridiculous.
That's what it is. But they self-impose these things that they.
But that's kind of what I was saying about ASU. They all sucked the last 2 years.
They self-imposed.
Impose some.
They did.
Well,
they self-imposed their postseason this year.
But they should come out and say that. Come out because that's what they should have done after the Eastern Michigan laws. Be like, self-imposed bail.
U of A didn't come out and say this before. They didn't come out and say, "Hey, nobody can visit our campus." We're saying this right now.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
Yeah. Does this give you hope now? Do you believe that really not much is going to happen? Slap on the wrist. 3 scholarships max, I'd say, for 1 year.
Yeah, because they didn't even use all their scholarships last year, did they?
Sean Miller didn't get anything. Nothing happened to him.
He's still coaching it.
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing, right? Because I do think the NCAA is now at a point where they realize that like everyone's gone. The difference here in ASU is that, or U of A, is that their AD is also gone, correct? Like the AD that was here for this is not there right now. So
yeah, because
that was like a clean break. There are no connections now, and I guess Ray is still here, but how much does that really matter?
Our GM saw in the chat. We've been talking about this for the last couple of months. Like it's been hush hush about this, and people really expected. I don't know why people expected 5 years later them to come out and say death penalty. Yeah, death penalty. Because like Larson, you gotta go.
Like I do think the NCAA is now at a point where they realize that like we can't be punishing these kids for something that a grown man who is not there anymore did. Like, could you imagine that? It'd be such bullshit if fucking like one of us was getting held accountable for something that happened at the company before we even started working here. Yeah. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help anybody. So I don't think unless they have an axe to grind with Sean and Guano, they're really going to come out here and fuck over ASU football. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. And also, it's not good for NCAA.
And also, I don't think it's going to happen for a couple years.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, Hiki was there when it all went down.
Okay.
Also, so
I don't know what I'm talking about. But I mean, that's even better sign for ASU. The AD is there, and it's the football program. None of them are there anymore.
Ray was here.
Yeah.
Ray's going to be here. So. Yeah. We talked about Ray yesterday. Yeah, yesterday on the audio show. If you missed it, go listen to that. But yeah, we got something pretty exciting to announce right now. We do have somebody on the show tomorrow.
Kind of announced. I guess I kind of leaked it earlier.
Without further ado, who's on our show tomorrow? It's Carlos.
DeCarlos
Motherfucking
Brooks. ASU running back, transfer running back, played at Cal last year. I'm excited to talk to him. I'm excited to. I just like talking to transfer guys.
Let's just hope. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, fair.
Let's hope our show isn't cursed. Last time we had a transfer come on, 2 weeks after he decided he was going to transfer to ASU, he decommitted.
Listen, this is going to be an inside secret with us. I think the company might be cursed because you look at what happens with Coyotes. They do walking and talking. Guys just don't. They struggle for like a week, but then they come back and they score. Craig released an article about Karol Vejmelka. He let in 2 goals in the first 5 minutes last night.
Okay,
but we're going to keep that between us.
You know what?
Josh Dunn's elite.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think it's good to air this out. So like,
yeah, we need to acknowledge it. Seth Beer, we put him on a T-shirt. Where's he at?
We didn't do that. We didn't put him on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
It's no way affiliated with him whatsoever.
Fair enough.
Seth Beer. What are you talking about?
Fair enough. But yeah, we're just gonna keep this between us.
You know what else is exciting to announce? Illegal Pete's.
Ooh, that is
Hey,
exciting.
Chad, have you ever had Illegal Pete? Whether you were investigating a scandal in Tucson or Tempe, there are locations in both places.
Yeah.
So if you're an FBI plant that wants to investigate a school
That's what it
for
was.
recruiting scandals
they were,
or whatever,
there was somebody in Illegal Pete's writing out the email, getting ready to give U of A the death penalty, then they bit into a burrito or a taco, and they're like, I can't do this to the city.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, we're excited to welcome Illegal Pete's to the PHNX family. Check out their location on Mill in Tempe. Plus, when you purchase $100 in gift cards, they'll throw you $25 one on the house, and be on the lookout for a few informal happy hours with us.
With us
Country.
and Toast.
It's on Mill. If you haven't been yet, their food is fantastic.
One day you're gonna literally
they have
meet
a
us
bar inside of it. It's like a hoity-toity Chipotle. Where you can get twisted at, and it's on Mill. It's a great spot. If you haven't been to Illegal Pete's, go there. And then if you're in Tucson for whatever reason, there's also one there. So definitely check it out. It's a very, very fun time.
What binds us together, Tucson and Tempe, is the I-10 and Illegal Pete's.
Yeah, and Four Peaks?
And Four Peaks, yes, because you can't get Four Peaks down there.
Go get yourself some Four Peaks.
Go get yourself some Four Peaks. The sad thing, if you're from Tucson, though, is you got to come all the way up here if you want to the A Street Pub. But the streets are saying, not me, the streets are saying that it's worth it.
The streets are talking way
The streets are talking a lot about our sponsors. It's
I
just
think
so
the streets should stop talking.
Why? They're talking truth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're talking truth. Yeah, but get out to the Four Peaks 8th Street Pub, and you can give back the gift of beer this holiday season. They have a limited supply of their December Advent calendar.
Have we opened ours today?
We haven't opened ours, have we?
We will.
We'll do it after the show. We'll let y'all know what it is. But yeah, $55. You can enjoy specialty beers, tall boys, and more. You can get beers that I didn't even know existed. They had like a Harry Potter themed beer. They had like a Beatles themed beer. It's just crazy. It's a good gift, and if you get it now, you got 14 beers that you get to open off rip.
Yep. One for each day.
I'm just saying. And you know what? You could open it, find the beers that excite you, find the beers that, your friend is like, oh, they're an IPA. Go, I'm gonna save this IPA. And then you get another gift. You can get some beers for yourself, take the beers out, just put a couple aside, give them like their own little build a 6-pack. It's again, streets saying maybe the greatest Christmas gift of all time. Streets are vocal today.
Yeah, 21 plus though, if you're gonna be drinking.
Obviously you're gonna be drinking 21 plus, but you do not have to be 21 to get to the A Street Pub and enjoy some tendies.
Yeah, enjoy responsibly. Last topic I have, kind of impromptu, talking about Four Peaks. If there's not a bar near you, I've seen people open up their own bars in garages. Have you seen that?
I've not.
You've never seen that?
I mean, I've seen I've been at houses who have bars in them, but
you've never seen somebody run a bar out of their garage?
I've not. That sounds like a felony.
No, I think you can get a liquor license for whatever. I met a guy that was in Old Town that had, I forgot what his thing was called. It was like something cool, Porky's Porch or something. It was awesome, and he ran it out of his garage. He had T-shirts and everything. It was really cool. So I wanted to know, first of all, does that sound like something you'd attend?
Attend? Is it my friend's garage or just a garage?
Let's say a mutual friend. You don't really know them, but
yeah, like if you were like, hey, one of my buddies is opening up a bar in his garage. You want to check it out? I'm like, yeah.
Or what if he's not opening it up? What if it's just like it's super decked out? It's like a man cave, but a bar, and he's
that's a vibe.
All right, well, I need 3 PHNX employees that would work at said bar.
Derek is an easy number one, I think.
What does he do? Bartender?
Yeah.
So we need a bartender. We need like somebody who makes the food, and we need a hostess/host.
Okay, so yeah, definitely the bartender. Chef, I'm either. I think I've been. Oh, Craig, duh.
Yeah.
Duh. I was getting skewed. I was considering Frank because he made some of the best stew I've ever had.
Saul's gonna be so mad you didn't pick him for chef.
I'm sorry, Saul. You're an amazing cook, but
That's where I'm going.
Craig, Saul.
Yeah.
It depends on the vibe you're going for. Because if you're going like some barbecue, then it's easily Saul.
Well,
like,
but I think just bar food and barbecue.
yeah,
in general, it's
that's
Saul.
true. Craig might be a
takes
little.
the credit
That's a
for
good point.
his wife
That's
cooking the
also a
food.
good. Well, no, Craig's a very good cook in his own right, but his food might be a little too highbrow for our garage bar. So yeah, you're probably right. Saul's probably the right way to go there. Derek is easily the bartender.
Yep.
Our
I agree with Derek.
hostess.
Jacob.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd be intimidated if I walked in. There's a man that tall walking me to my seat. I'm just saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Totri?
Totri would be a very good one. Honestly, and I'm going to go Leah because Leah and I are the same in that we both are
She does have restaurant experience.
terrific like customer service people. Like it is just kind of it. I was built for that shit. I worked at a Taco. Jacob did work at a Taco too, though, and they know how to train people there. That's how you got me.
Yeah.
Saying.
We're popular, Sean.
We're
There's
popular.
one-
Yeah, the
there's
bar is
one-
going to be popular.
There's one more position.
Corner.
And I think it's clear who it should be. And on the count of three, we're going to say it at the same time, okay?
What's the position?
Ready? Security. 3, 2, 1. Emma.
Frank. Oh. Emma, what?
Oh, yeah.
If Emma came up to me, I love Emma. If Emma came up to me and was like, "Sir, you need to leave," I would be like, "How are you even allowed in here? You're a child."
No.
She is 21 though.
She'd force you out.
She'd force
you out, and then if you tried to fight back, she'd stab you.
Well, if she's I guess there is that. Like,
You'd be like, she'd be like, "Sir, you need to leave. You've had too much," and you'd say, "Fuck off." She'd whisper in your ear and go, "I have a knife."
yeah.
Yeah.
What position would Espo have at the bar?
Mascot.
Espo would be and just because I only saying this because Saul is already in the kitchen cooking. Espo would be like the floor manager that goes around to these tables and is like, "Are you enjoying your experience tonight?"
Oh my god, another thing. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to go to an Applebee's,
and put on a button down,
and just be like, "How's your food today?"
Oh. Are you guys enjoying your experience?
Oh, I don't like
today?
that. I don't like
I'm
that.
loving
His handles
that.
on my back.
I'm
I did not
enjoying
like
it.
that.
That's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, as long as he's keeping his hands off the patrons of the garage bar, we should be good.
Friday, when we're in downtown, I'm going to walk into a random establishment, random food place, and one of the first tables I see in the corner, I'm going to ask how their food is.
We're gonna be at Lucky's. This is gonna be like a random bar, and you're gonna be walking around in a suit. Be like,
I'll
"Are you
do
enjoying your experience today?"
I'll do my like 40-year-old dad.
Wait, that's what would be a tremendous
Yeah, he
bathroom attendant. He's like, "Do you need some gum, sir?"
I'll do my 40-year-old dad manager impression.
Oh,
Act like you're eating.
sorry to the audio listeners.
Hey boss, how's everything?
Oh, yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I've been waiting for a soup to come out,
Soup.
but otherwise everything's been pretty good.
I'll check on that for
All
you,
right,
boss.
appreciate
You
it.
have a great day.
I appreciate it.
Was that good?
That was tremendous.
Yeah.
That was tremendous. Great
All right.
customer service. It made up for the fact that my waiter forgot the soup.
Yeah. What's have a soup? French onion?
Duh.
Yeah.
No,
You know what
actually, I can't because I've had the best. Not in my opinion. The streets have said the best French onion
at
soup
Four
of all
Peaks.
time is at Four Peaks, so I'm not even going to try and mess with that.
Duh.
It depends on what kind of soup Saul's got in his bag.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of soup
Well,
guy he is.
you know what else is a duh? It's following us on Twitter. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Sun Devils.
Did you hit your next Twitter milestone? I forgot what it was. Was it 1,000?
Yeah.
You
Johnny
did
got
hit
me
it?
to 1,000.
Oh, hell yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Totri on Twitter at Anthony_Totri. And you can follow Sean on Twitter at Sean_DePaz.
Enjoying my soup as always.
Love it. We'll be back tomorrow with DeCarlos Brooks, 2 p.m.
2 p.m.,
3
baby. 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Make sure to join us
Totri will be back.
right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow PHNX_sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow at 2. Peace.